morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television and happy Thursday. It's a pretty decent start off to your morning commute for the most part, but we do, again, as Jordan mentioned, we have delays on the southbound DVP and, of course, that crash at Lawrence in the right lane, so it's down to a single lane. Outside of that, we're just watching volume on the highways and just taking a look over at the westbound 401 right now. It's slowing down. I would say it's slowing down from about Markham to Kennedy, alternately Express and Collector, so that's to the top of your screen there, and that's all just due to volume. Taking a look at the drive into downtown on the Gardner, that is starting to fill in over the Humber Bridge on the eastbound Gardner, and it's also slowing down moving through Dufferin. Heading off our major routes, we are still looking at a problem northbound on Bathurst at Harvard Street, where we have all lanes blocked, or maybe not, because of a crash. Emergency crews were on the scene. As you can see, we still have police on point duty, and as this shot clears up, we do still have some lane restrictions to the left of your screen, so it's not completely blocked, but it looks like we do still have a right lane shut down, and that is all because of that crash. That is a look at your traffic for this morning. Now we're going to send it over to Frankie for that chilly forecast. It's chilly.
Yeah, chilly. No, it's fresh. Not chilly. Chilly is what happens when we get in November and December. Right now we have sunrise about 10 minutes ago. Sunsets at 8:21, so it's 14 hours of daylight. Seasonal highs, we should be around 25.9. We should be waking up to temperatures around 14.3 in the morning. The record 1938, 34.4. So what we're waking up to this morning is 16. So it's right around seasonal, near seasonal. A little bit of a northeasterly still this morning, and with that breeze, it creates a little bit of a coolish feel. We've been watching some isolated showers down through Friends in Windsor, Leamington, seeing some of that even over through to Chatham. You have a risk of that as well as into Sarnia. Toronto, we're dry this morning. Into the afternoon, it's an ever so slight risk of a shower. We're below seasonal today in terms of our daytime high, a high of 24. Right near seasonal tomorrow at 26. Into the afternoon, a 30% chance of seeing an isolated thunderstorm that could push through, and that's late afternoon, almost early evening. Greater chance of seeing active weather through Saturday afternoon into the evening with the chance of thunderstorms. A high 26, humidex into the mid-30s. It'll be a humid weekend overall. Back over to you, Mel.
It could be a major roadblock in the Liberals' road to re-election. The federal ethics commissioner has ruled that Justin Trudeau used improper political influence in the SNC-Lavalin scandal, pressuring former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould to help the Quebec firm avoid a criminal trial. But the PM insists he was trying to protect Canadian jobs.
Essential that we do that in a way that defends our institutions, that upholds prosecutorial independence. But we need to be able to talk about the impacts on Canadians right across the country of decisions being made.
Okay, so here's the question. Can the Liberals weather this bombshell? Joining us now with more on the potential political fallout from this ruling by phone, 680 News Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney. Good morning to you, Cormac.
Good morning.
Okay, the timing on this report, very interesting. We're about 2 months out from the election. Do you see it having a major impact?
Well, if history proves anything, when this scandal first broke back in the spring, the Liberals were hit pretty hard in the polls. They fell by almost 7 percentage points. That's a big drop. And so if we see that repeat itself with the ethics commissioner's finding, then they could be in for a rough ride when they start the election campaign in just a few weeks. But a lot of this has already played out. A lot of the arguments politically have already been made for months and months and months now. So there is a chance that this doesn't hit the Liberals as hard as it did the first time around, because people's entrenched opinions on this matter, whether they support the Prime Minister or they're with the opposition saying this stinks, this will just solidify their opinions. They're either going to still support the Prime Minister on this or still support the opposition, or they might be sick of this whole scandal altogether and base their vote on something else. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, because it could either, draw some more people to bring some pain to the Liberals, or just not really hit them at all.
Yeah, I'm going to put this out there. If you ask the average voter to explain the SNC-Lavalin scandal, I'm wondering if someone could, and whether or not, like as you've mentioned, explain what it is, the fallout, and if they really do care. So those are the big questions, and really we won't know until the polls in October. But do you think people maybe just made up their mind already? So this is a report, but they see ethics commission, right? So that's a big one. But do you think this really will matter?
I think that what this will do is give the opposition parties much more ammunition on the campaign trail because now it's official. The Prime Minister had said that he had done nothing wrong and from the start called these allegations false. And his narrative kind of slightly shifted throughout this whole scandal. Now we have an official finding from the ethics commissioner, and they can say that he was found guilty of breaking ethics rules not once but twice. So I think it will have an impact in some way, but as you mentioned, this is also a very complex issue, and I remember seeing a tweet where somebody said scandals in the U.S. are pretty cut and clear with President Donald Trump, but here in Canada, first you have to understand the role of the Attorney General. So it's not it's not an easy one for Canadians to wrap their heads around.
It's not. So obviously more for people to do their research, and now we've got 2 months, so now's the time to figure it all out. Cormac, appreciate your time this morning.
Anytime.
Thanks for that. It is 6:36. We're going to check in with Roger and Mike.
All right, thank you very much. Mel Mike Couple joins us now. Talk a little business. Good morning, Mike. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Roger. Thank you. How are you?
I am good. We're doing better than the markets, though.
That's an understatement. We are coming off the worst single day of the year on the North American equity trade Wednesday. The Dow was down 800 points. Now, back in the day, an 800-point drop would be much more significant than what it is today. It was still 3%, which is nothing to sneeze at necessarily. But
you have to look at it as a percentage now. Because what's it at now? 24,000 or 20?
Yeah,
I haven't seen the numbers.
We're at 26,000.
26,000,
right?
okay.
So, nevertheless, the TSX was down 300 points. The reason, the bond trade is signaling an impending recession. This is the bet right now. And, you can't discount that, even though none of this has actually shown up in the specific statistics. In fact, the U.S., still has a record low unemployment rate. Here in Canada, we're seeing a couple of speed wobbles on job creation. So maybe this might generate some weaker trends economically speaking. And psychology plays a part in this. When you see the markets going down as much as they are, people go, I don't want to spend as much. So does it build upon itself, right?
Yeah, it starts panicking, right? Creates panic.
And just in the past couple of minutes, China just said they're going to retaliate for any and all new trade tariffs imposed by the U.S. early next month. So this just has a snowball effect. And it seems like headline after headline after headline right now hits the market. Having said that, Roger, quickly, the Dow on Tuesday, remember Tuesday? So long ago.
Vaguely.
It was up 400 points when the Trump administration said, we'll back off on some of the tariffs until December.
And all of a sudden
subject to change very quickly.
Okay, and just one last quick thing. SNC-Lavalin, with everything that's going on, we hear Cormac talking about it.
And
it's down.
It is. It's at a record low for the stock price because this keeps the story in the headlines, obviously, with the Ethics Commission's report, the damning indictments related to the SNC affair. They're not going to get any new business. Investors are going, okay, what's next for this company? They're going to lose more market value and down sharply by more than 5% yesterday. Again, record low for the share price.
All right, we'll see. Maybe it'll become a good buy eventually.
Or not.
Or not.
Look, this company, even if, the whole argument we're protecting jobs, the jobs will go someplace because these are still projects that are going to have to be done at some point by whichever company, whether it's SNC or not.
All right. Mike, thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
And let's talk about where Nicole is right now. Yeah, she's going to be our airborne shortly. Maybe not doing traffic. She might be busy screaming. I'll tell you why coming up after the break.
We're looking at Bathurst and Harvard, where we have it down to a single lane in each direction, all because of a crash that brought down a traffic light. Traffic light's still on the ground, and the traffic lights themselves at the intersection are out. That's why they have police in the middle of the intersection. They're acting on point duty to make sure everyone gets through the intersection okay. Getting Old, Catch the Suspendables, a hilarious podcast by Jungle Jim Jerome and Russ Courtnall on the signs of aging. Search The Suspendables on any podcast streaming service.